Now, of course, I expected to have a disagreement with him because the plethora of messages that popped up for the split second the phone came on before dying again, yeah. I went in the apartment to retrieve my necessities for the night, thinking it would be an in and out situation because I didn't care to be up arguing all night, especially now that I was basically going off a downer and really just wanted to go back to sleep. Besides the messages, I could feel the energetic shift so strongly as if I could cut the tension in the air with a knife. Now, as I entered the crib, I saw a puzzle friend chilling and watching TV in the living room, which kind of gave me a sense of ease because he was actually one of the ones that had common sense. We said hello, and I continued to the back of the house. As I walked in the room, the uneasiness was back, and I was also confused. This man was laying in the bed, lights off, TV on, with a tear rolling down his face and a purple rose laying in the bed with his hand under the cover. You cannot make this up. He didn't budge. He just laid there staring at me, still tearing up and gritting his teeth. So I walked to what was my side of the bed, where I knew I left my glasses, and I stared at the rose as I pulled the cover back and I saw he was holding a 38. I felt like I was in a movie for real, and all I could think about was that scene in Selena where the rose dropped on stage. If you seen that movie, you know how we all felt when we saw that part. In this moment, you couldn't tell me I wasn't about to be on a t-shirt. My heart dropped to the floor, but for whatever reason, I couldn't and I didn't show it. I kept my head high and my pride strong, feeling punked and like he was just trying to scare me because he still hadn't said a word. I looked at him and I asked, "What's that for?" with a slight attitude, but genuinely still concerned for myself. Now, he started to get out the bed, asking if I think he's playing, now standing in front of me with the grip in hand. And I looked at him disgusted, asking if he was okay, and started asking for my glasses so I could leave. I could tell he was getting more upset by the second, because he began to threaten me while asking for the keys back, telling me how I think he's stupid. And at this point, yes, I do. I told him he was tripping and my phone was dead as I was asleep at Muma's house, but he continued to yell about how I was trying to play him and thought he was stupid. But now, no, on the contrary, I actually think you're just batshit crazy. So I told him I wasn't giving him anything until I got my wallet, my glasses, and my charger, looking at the rose again and asking him if he planned on offing me. He continued to yell, gripping the heat, and started spinning the chamber. And as I went to go grab my wallet, this man grabbed me by the head and started hitting me in the face. But me being me, I just didn't back down. I started swinging back and considered this would have been my last fight. Unfortunately, I was now dazed because he switched from using his hand to butting me with the grip. And his friend, I guess he heard the commotion because he came to break it up. Thank God. As I told you, I don't know who I think I am, but I was very much unbelievable back then, okay? I was still talking about that damn wallet, saying how I wasn't leaving my stuff with him because I wasn't. And I ran past him and his friend, grabbed my stuff, and as his friend was still in the hallway trying to calm him down, he was still over there talking shit. I ran past again, but at this time, he was standing there gritting his teeth, looking stupid and drunk. And I told him he better have that shit when I get back. He looked at me and said, "What?" I repeated myself and I walked out the house. Do you know this man ran behind me, chased me down the stairs, and by the time I got to the front door of the building, he grabbed me by the back of my head right when I grabbed the knob and started banging my face on the steel beam of the door. I could feel my face had instantly swole up, my lip and my nose was leaking, my right eye going dark from the instant swelling, like he didn't want nobody to look at me or see me again. He ran back upstairs as I yelled I was going off him. Best believe I was going off him. So now, I walked out the building. Muma was standing by the store talking to her friends, and I could tell it looked worse than I felt from her reaction. I knew it was bad, but my adrenaline was pumping, so I was more angry at the situation than I was physically hurt. And I looked down with my good eye. Crazy. And there was blood everywhere. She just kept saying, "Oh my God, cook, sis, no." We walked in the store to go get some tissues to clean me up real quick. And as I stood there waiting for the tissues, I saw this man running past the store with a book bag. And I knew he had just headed for the hills. Now, although I was very much calm on the exterior, mentally, internally, I was panicking. And I had to have been because I called my father. And I don't even know why, because as I expected, he was not answering that phone. So I ended up calling Joker. And he told me he was in Brooklyn and it would take him a minute before he would even be able to get to me. This is when I knew I had to find a way to get my shit out that house myself. But first things first, let me go clean up and heal. And me and Muma went back to her crib, and I felt so empty, just so broken, ugly, useless. You know how they say right before you pass away, your life flashes before your eyes? That was the exact feeling that I got. It was like my life had flashed before my eyes. But unfortunately for me, I was still here, still living after the death of me, still experiencing this hell on earth is how I felt, you know? And I don't wish this on my worst enemy. Honestly speaking, people don't realize how deep DV is until they experience it or it hits close to home. This is nothing to play with. And a lot of people question, well, why didn't you leave? Or why did you stay? Why didn't you find an out? Some people really don't understand how bad it is until it actually gets there, you know? And especially given the circumstances and the other things that I was enduring, it was very much easy for me to just had stayed in a situation that was unhealthy for me. I was living unhealthily already, you know? So I wasn't making the wisest decisions. I was told once before, and I know better now, that you don't know the light and the power that you carry. You don't see it from the perspective that others do. And I know better now it's because of the things that you have to experience. The fact that you're still living in your reality, and amidst all the drama that you may be enduring, such as myself, I'll speak on myself, it is very much blinding to the fact, you know? So me going through all that I have, especially since a child, since a very young age, and suppressing that, it did blind me from that. I didn't know. And the choices that I had made me feel as though this was the life that I was supposed to be living. The things that I was going through, it was beginning to become a normalcy to me, and that's not okay. I truly wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. And anyone who has experienced DV or is still going through it or hasn't overcome it yet, I pray for you. I love you. And I do hope that you stay close to God and realize that you are so much more than what you have been through. You are bigger than your battles, and you do not deserve to be mistreated. You are not the scum of the earth. You deserve the absolute best, and you are enough. Please always do remember that. And if you hadn't got out of the situation yet, please find safety. Please find your way out of it. And for those who have inflicted such pain on others, I don't care if you're a man or a female, you should not ever do that to anyone. Shame on you. And I do pray that you overcome your battles with your demons, and that you learn from your mistakes and you don't inflict this pain on anyone else. You have no idea the way that you have caused them to now battle things that they weren't before that. And it was probably out of them trying to love you through your fight. So I pray that you overcome your fight, because mental health is a real thing. And a lot of people don't acknowledge it the way that it should be, because we've become so desensitized to things in this world, the things that they put out there for us to find normalcy in what we're enduring and what we see. It's not okay. It is not okay. Don't ever think that mistreating someone is okay and that you won't find your karma. And honestly speaking, a lot of people think because they go on to live a good life, or they still have the things that they desire coming in, they think that that's a blessing, or that they can be left untouched. No, that's not the case at all. Your karma is going to come when you least expect it. When you're at your high, when you feel like everything is going so great, that's when it's going to smack you in the face. And I pray that you learn something from this and you take that punch the same way that you gave it, because it's not okay. So thank you all for staying with me and for listening to the Hello Short Stories. This isn't the end. This is just an intermission. I just want to tell you all thank you, because your kind words, your love, your support, it does a lot for me. And I want you all to know that, because I do still have to endure the fact that this is my reality, you know, even if I've overcome it, even if I found ways to express myself and use this to better help others, it's still my reality. So sometimes, yes, I do sit back and I reflect, or I do have flashbacks. So I appreciate you all so much, and I love you, and I pray that you and anyone close to you doesn't ever have to endure anything that I have shared with you all, because it's not an easy battle. Stay amazing, stay blessed, Stay close to God and keep being you. Keep doing you. Keep your crowns high. You are enough.